Hi guys, this is Eric from Gun Gamers. Who are you?
I'm Cory from Gun Gamers.
Matt West from Gun Gamers.
I'm Ben.
I'm Steve from Gun Gamers.
And we're here to talk about this cool project that Cory started called Task Force Keg. Do you want to talk about Keg at all, Cory?
So basically I really missed wearing really heavy, shitty fucking body armor, and I decided that there needed to be more infantry on the NATO side of MilSim West. So yeah, here we are, Task Force Keg. We're, relatively based off of 10th Mountain Division in the Army.
Era specific, like
Era
2012 to
specific.
2014.
Yeah, so 2012 to 2014. The standard operating procedure for gear is based off of what most of the units within 10th Mountain were doing at that time. And part of that is UCP. There's a little bit of UCP and mostly multicam. So yeah, as you can see, there's a variety of different setups you can do within Task Force Keg that still make sense. But it's designed to be an easily accessible kit for NATO, and here you have it. So yeah.
All right, before we get further into it, I'm empty. I need a reload. Boom. Thanks, Lane. BB Warrior. Boom. We got the BB Warrior, our beer duty. He's helping us out. Thank you. Link to his channel down below. Go watch him. He's cool.
Let's spill it on the 240.
As Cory was saying, we focus on doing these types of infantry kits. It's something a little bit cool, a little bit different than what a lot of people are doing kits of.
Well,
Yeah.
elaborate on that a little though, because you said MilSim West, but it's not just for MilSim West.
No,
we've already
I mean-
had a couple guys who were able to go out where
Yeah.
their state hadn't shut down, and they repped at like smaller MilSims.
Yeah.
And that's fine. The whole idea is to have like you go to these MilSim games, right? And the context is always like force on force, this big army movement, and then you're like, why is everyone dressed like some special snowflake SEAL? Where the fuck are the grunts?
Yeah.
So
Where's
try
the
to-
regular fucking guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, the other nice thing about this kit is it's relatively cheap. IOTVs you can find between. I mean, I bought an IOTV that was $60. I bought one that was $100, and then you can go. We allow all the way up to the SPCS, so you have all generations of the IOTV. We aren't really strict about that yet. I don't know if we ever will, because we want this to be a kit that people can buy. Obviously, we have the ACH or Mitch 2000. Yeah, you can use that. It's not as bad as a helmet as people think, especially when you can modify it with Team Wendy. Good pads and a good helmet strap and retention system. But yeah. So obviously, the first thing that you can do, one of the easiest things to save a little bit of money is, in mobility, for me, is direct mounting the pouches to the IOTV. So I have a mix of UCP and multicam pouches. Up here I actually have some N-Gage tactical pouches. One of the things that we allow is pretty much anything that you could find in a surplus store that's multicam or UCP you could use. So specifically, fucking Eagle. What are some other pouch companies?
Fly?
Tactical Tailor is
Tactical
allowed
Tailor
a lot,
is-
but there's
is
also
one
a
of the big
lot
ones.
of reference pictures for Tactical Tailor.
Yeah.
Like I actually have these Tactical Tailor Fight Light saw pouches on the front of my SPCS, and I've heard from a lot of people who are in the actual military, and especially people who were with 10th Mountain, that apparently these are very popular.
Very popular.
The Eagle saw pouches obviously are very popular too, but then you've got Rothco and all the various contractors. SDS, I think, is one of the contractors that does a lot of military pouches.
Yep.
Basically anything that you can find. If you go on eBay and you search like USGI surplus and it's in the appropriate pattern, it's probably kosher.
Honestly, on eBay, and I'm gonna trigger Garrett here, but this is what you should search on eBay. It's ACU Molly 2. You will find everything you could ever want for this kit. It's
Yeah,
technically
honestly.
UCP. I'm sorry, Garrett, but like
Another place to
eBay,
look
no one
for-
does it like that.
Another place to look for good deals is Gunbroker. That's where I found my SPCS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So obviously this is like the SPCS is top tier. That's some pretty expensive kit to buy. So we do allow that, and we won't exclude it. And eventually, as we get more into the future, we will move our time frame up from 2012, 2014 up to 2018, 2020.
Yeah.
So SPCS will be the thing, unless we go backwards in time which is fine with the IOTV, and in which case we might do full UCP. It just depends for the event.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you can kind of cheat and get full UCP even now. We're doing MilSim West next weekend at Saratov, and my full rain suit is all UCP. So let's hope it rains. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have the SPCS, you have direct mount to the IOTV, and then you have this chest rig.
Flick.
Tell me
Hold
about that. Yeah.
Thank you. So the Flick is the FLC. So as you can
Fight
see,
load carrier.
thank you. So it's basically like an over-engineered 2 large chest rig.
Yeah.
But it fits perfectly over
Well,
the
it's
IoT.
the oldest school tactical vest.
Yeah, like they had them still in M81, right? So
Oh, yeah.
old as shit. But it wraps all the way around. Like, these pouches are still on it. There's just one strap in the back that hooks it just like a chest rig would. But it comes all the way up here. Like, almost like gives you as much real estate as like an RRV. A little bit less because of the zipper, but...
Yeah.
But it really covers pretty much what the IOTV would cover, except I can take it off. So my plan with it is when we're stuck at FOBs and we're just doing like a short LPOP or like a short patrol, I don't have to put on the whole fucking plate carrier and hate myself every minute of the day. I can go light if I need to. If we're like racked out, we're sleeping, right? And shit happens, which always happens at MilSim West.
Yeah.
I can just grab my FLC and throw it in front of me, and I've got my whole fighting load there. I don't even have to put it on. Whereas grabbing my IOTV with plates and soft armor, because I hate myself again, this is gonna be a hassle to carry. This is way easier. So that's why I liked it. The other more loose option is a little bit lighter. So this guy's got
Yeah,
here.
so I went a little bit newer. I went with the TAP, the Tactical Assault Panel. Essentially, it's a lot more similar to what you're probably used to seeing with new armor setups with placards and stuff like that. There's a couple straps that go through the molly on the IOTV itself, and then the TAP clips in. 2 on the top, 1 on each side. Fits just as tight. I've got mag storage built in. I've got molly on the front for things like saw pouches. I'll be running the 240. So I've got a 250 and a 100 rounder. Some frag pouches. But again, what's cool about this is it comes with a strap set. So again, like Matt said, if we're at a fob or something like that, I can clip, throw the straps on, lose the armor, throw the TAP over. I've still got my full kit, and I'm ready to go. I'm fighting ready. So.
Oh yeah. And
Steve got direct. Nope, Flick. Yeah.
Steve
you
went
did.
FLC as well.
His is a little bit easier to see.
The only real difference between my kit and yours is that I have one multicam pouch, and that is it, and that's my hydro carrier on the front.
Nice, which doesn't
Yeah.
even have the hydro in it right now.
Now, if we want to talk about hydros real quick, though, you've got the old school guys. You have real old school map pack.
My back is slick right now because we're not going to a long game.
I have
tomorrow.
a special camelback unit called an armor back,
That's a good unit.
which is
a good one.
made. It has almost like QD clips.
Yeah, that's a
that
great.
Clip it to the molly of the back of the IOTV.
Oh yeah, these guys right here. As opposed to
so
mine,
yeah,
where
there's
I've
no
got D-clips for
right.
mine.
There's no
Yeah.
molly weaving. There's no figuring
Rim lock.
out how to make it
Yeah.
attach. You know, that kind of stuff. She clips right on. She's made for it, and I actually really like that.
Yeah, the armor back is pretty great, and the armor back in UCP and multicam I think is pretty commonly in use with a lot of service
Yeah. I
members.
mean, you would see 'em all
UCP
the
definitely.
time.
Multicam a little harder to find because I think everybody's still got them
makes sense.
because they like them so much. But yeah, you can definitely find UCPs out there.
Yeah. And then the standard camelback is actually what I am planning on using for more sustained events. This is I have this set up for a shorter style game tomorrow, so I just have a couple water bottles and an extra saw pouch. But you know, obviously with hydro, there's all those different ways you can set up. The Eagle map that Cory's got, I would say, is the most Barbie thing here.
Yep.
But
Probably.
Cory is keg daddy, so he gets to bend the rules to his whim, and stuff like that would not be totally against a lot of the
would
SOPs
find it,
that I've seen.
Yeah, you would find it in a surplus store. So, like I said, I tried to base Task Force Keg off of multiple SOPs. I made it off of more strict one, but like in my unit, for instance, when I first got there, we could wear pouches of whatever color we wanted. So that was OD, Ranger Green, khaki, multicam, black. We could do whatever the fuck we wanted. We could wear whatever chest rigs we wanted to over our IOTVs. Yeah, we got new fucking Sergeant Major, and then we switched to only UCP. And if you had multicam gear, then you wore multicam fucking pouches with the IOTV or whatever you got in multicam. So yeah, so
we're kind of replicating that transitional period though,
Yeah.
so that's why we have a lot of UCP and multicam mixing, and that also helps make it more accessible with like the rain gear. You can find a lot of the UCP rain gear very cheaply, but also the multicam stuff can be found pretty easily. But the idea really was to marry the accessibility we wanted, because we kind of modeled this off of the accessibility of like MilSim West Militia.
Yeah.
Of having a uniform requirement, but having it be largely accessible if you go to a surplus store. And we wanted that for NATO, but in a more uniform fashion than everybody showing up with their knockoff JPC and their Crytac, which, no offense, love my Crytacs and I love my JPCs, but ultimately at this point you're getting more into a real infantry kit that replicates what most of the fighting force for the type of conflict MilSim West is replicating is going to look like.
yeah.
And I'll say, like, the goal of it was to try to get a bigger rep from it, and I feel like we really succeeded in that already.
I mean, we have 22 people going.
22 people going, and
our
that's
first event.
first time showing.
The Task Force Keg Facebook group has got what, almost 300 members now.
Yeah.
Close to.
Yeah.
So that's not bad, especially East Coast, because no one fucking comes to the East Coast.
Yeah.
So like, that's pretty good.
We did not talk about the helmets. Should
Ooh.
we talk
Oh,
about helmets real quick?
And rifles. We got to talk about rifles.
Well, we got to talk about guns, and we
Okay.
got to talk about the helmets. So let's start with the helmets.
Helmets.
Helmets are easy. ACH,
ACH.
UCP or multicam cover, and we're doing the netting as like something that we're highly encouraging if you have multicam, and requiring if you have UCP. Because if you look at a lot of reference photos for a lot of people who are in the unit during the time of replicating, a lot of the UCP covers are being covered with netting to try to get that more uniform look.
Yeah.
And then the multicam covers are obviously the multicam covers.
Yeah.
Single hole shrouds
Yep.
for the NVGs, none of the 3-hole stuff.
We have
We're-
some
we're
guys with 3
allowing it,
holes, but
But it's discouraged.
we're letting it go
Yeah.
because, I mean, if an ACH comes that way, or if that's what someone has, then fuck it.
Also,
You know?
I'd rather you run nods if you have them than be like, I didn't get a 1-hole mount.
Or if you're
Fuck
renting
it.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, or renting.
Should we talk about weapons?
Yeah,
Yes.
buddy.
So let's talk about the M4 first, because the Keg M4 is the bread and butter of the kit. Like, most of the members of Keg are going to be running this M4, maybe in a couple of guises with a couple of variations, but we've got a couple of different ARs here that are set up Keg appropriate. And let's talk about the Keg M4 configuration. Cory, if you guys want to lead the discussion on that.
Start with yours.
So, you're running a Knight's Armament quad rail, 14.5-inch barrel, birdcage flash hider, triangle front sight.
Time out.
Yep.
While you go down, ones that are non-negotiable versus what is you can choose.
So, non-negotiable, this rail system
And triangle sight.
and the
And
triangle sight.
14.5 barrel, no, that 10.5 nonsense.
Yeah, no CQBRs. If you're running blanks and you have to run a 16-inch barrel, you can run a 16-inch barrel. We like that. Non-negotiable, Pack 15 or Repro.
Yeah. We have another one here too, from
Bring her in,
the
bring her
BB
in.
Warrior.
Oh,
Look at this guy.
Get your face
Look
on
at this guy.
camera.
Hold on, show the
Yeah,
shirt. Show
buddy.
the shirt.
Oh,
No, get in here.
man.
Get in here.
He's beautiful.
Don't you all wish you had this shirt? You only get it if you actually come drink with us.
Yeah.
So
And live.
That's the rule.
and live. And
Yes,
live.
you have to live.
Talk about a little bit different option.
Yeah.
So on mine, I have what EOTech is this?
That's a 5.52.
5.52.
It's the older,
The
not
old
as fancy.
school 5.52
No
is the old
XPSs.
Older,
tech option.
yeah, the older, shittier EOTech.
If it
The
takes
one
a
that-
double A, that's it.
The one that takes double A's.
Yeah.
So this flashlight not really kosher, so I'm gonna take it off. real
Yeah.
quick.
My
Wow.
flashlight is kosher.
Yep.
Mine is a knockoff. It's just like what brand is it? The Night
Force or whatever, Night
But
Evolution.
it works. They're not. I mean, they're a light. It's fine.
But it's the
But it's a replica of the-
Surefire
952?
952
Yep.
or 951. Are we cool
Yeah.
with?
951 or
951.
952.
It's the big bulky. Yeah, they're everywhere, man. You can find these from like any airsoft supplier for what, $40 maybe?
Or you can find surplus 952s on eBay for like no fucking dollars.
Yeah.
Especially if you get the incandescent ball, but it's salty as fuck.
Yeah. With the lasers, there is a little leeway on that. If you're using a legit IR laser, that it's I think we're okaying knockoffs or like other
knockoffs
things.
are fine.
It doesn't have to be a PEC 16.
You know,
We're also
15,
okaying
sorry.
D-ball variants.
Yeah.
Our main focus with IR lasers, I'm sorry, just to hijack, but our main focus with IR lasers is eye safety. We have a very strong opinion here with gun gamers that laser safety is not taken seriously enough at airsoft, so we are trying to, as much as possible, crack down and make sure that everyone has eye-safe commercial spec lasers of 3/4 of a milliwatt or less.
And I don't think it's just us. I think some of the national guys have started to kind of.
I think it's gotten a lot.
realize
I
that
think
it's
it's gotten
an
a lot more
issue.
attention.
Yeah, even if they haven't made rule sets about it, I think they're realizing that it's something they need to pay attention to.
Yeah, so we're trying to encourage, like, even above, if it looks correct, we want to make sure that if you're going to be using an IR laser for legitimate aiming under night vision, we would rather that it be eye safe than it be correct. So I have a D-ball I2 on my Keg M4 and on my saw here, which is kind of Farby, except the D-ball is actually in use with some Army units, and I've got some reference photos of 10th Mountain using D-balls. So I think that was the PEC 15A that they adopted that as for small unit purchases.
I don't know acronyms. I make Garrett do that. But yeah, man, just like have a laser. If it's a PEC 15, you know, like I actually just run mine as a flashlight. I don't even use my laser because I use a tracer unit that is modeled after one of these guys. So Matt, talk about that. And
So this is Knight's Armament suppressor. It's totally nothing altered, but it's quiet. So I have a Wraith stock on this, so this is HPA'd, and with that suppressor on, it is actually very muted, which is kind of the idea, right?
yeah,
So that's the only reason I'm running it. If it were aesthetic, that's stupid. Don't do that. But if
We
it actually,
generally discourage suppressors,
Yeah.
except tracer units at night. We obviously allow.
tracers are cool. Quieting is cool, especially if you're just like important, like I am. So it's fine.
yeah.
I just wanted to see
Anyways,
Eric's face.
you will see reference videos and pictures of Creek Company 10th Mountain
Yes.
using
Way
CAC suppressors.
sweeter suppressors too.
Really fucking
They're
cool
using
shit.
like Halo QD suppressors. I was like, mine
Yeah.
looks like shit compared to that. That's awesome.
So in terms of optics options, we've got a
Yes.
good run-of-the-mill.
Let's start with where you were at.
So we have the
Well,
comp.
we've got Cory's 5.52.
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
we are talking about.
Which, with or without a magnifier, right, is okay.
I mean,
Magnifier cool?
I wouldn't say no to a magnifier, but I haven't
Okay.
seen your reference pictures yet.
Yeah, we haven't
Okay.
seen many reference pictures of magnifiers, but honestly, if you want a magnified optic, get an ACOG.
Right.
Yep.
And then the Comp M4 and the Comp M2 aim point variants are good options for red dots in addition to the EOTech style.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's EOTech 5.52, aim point Comp M4 or Comp M2, ACOG.
If you're doing an ACOG, just get a 4X, man. Don't get the red dot ones. Like, there's not that big of a
Please.
price difference. If you're gonna do a red
Please.
dot, that's fine. But do like a red dot.
Yeah.
Like, these aren't that crazy
And
expensive
then for
anymore.
machine guns, you get into the
Yeah, so if we want
LCAN.
to talk
Pick it
about
up.
this guy.
So, getting back to optics on big boys. M240 Bravo, full stock, full length barrel, heat shield. This sight has a couple different names, the C79,
It is what it is in Canada.
M145. It's an LCAN, rubberized coating, fixed 4X. It is what they
I'm
put
empty.
on MGs, period.
And it's the older school Elcan, right? Not like the Spectre.
It's not a Spectre,
Yeah, none of
it's
that.
not a little flip with a red dot on the top and all that coolness. It is what grunts got
Oh my God.
to put on their MGs.
I'm getting beer on my saw, but I feel like that's appropriate.
That's correct.
What's the point? You guys are fast.
This is a PEC 2A. This was still around in the mid 2010s. This one happens to be a real one. Because of that, again, talking about laser safety, this little blue tab right here stays in place the whole game. If I take this off and flip it to high power, people go blind.
It's no good.
So as far as your MG setup goes, optic, sight, the 240 especially because of its weight, a lot of soldiers did what they needed to do to be able to carry it comfortably. Paracord handle. I got a broomstick handle on the side of here. That's a Knight's Armament vertical grip, for those of you that don't know nicknames. If you're going to run it with a sling, run it with the appropriate heavyweight sling. Do not stick this on a 1-point. That's a bad idea.
How would you know?
Or a good idea if you're a masochist.
It's a bad idea.
Quick way to infertility.
It works for the first 60 seconds, and then it does not. MilSim West especially, LMGs, MMGs, huge force multiplier. So we typically try and make a weapons squad, or we spread them out, or something like that.
That's with the
MMGs is anything that's a 7.62 caliber, so 240, M60, which would not be part of this kit.
Yeah, for Keg, the MMG option is the 240.
Is the 240.
The Lima is
You've got the
available.
Bravo. The Lima, it was just coming in during Keg.
It's not very common, but neither is it in airsoft. So
If I could shed 5 pounds off of this, I would. So, but that takes us to an LMG option.
yes, this is a G&P Mark 46. Now with LMGs for Keg, your real options are a Mark 46 variant, or I believe the old school M249 variant.
Yep, with a full stock.
With a full
with a
stock.
fixed stock, yeah.
Yeah, but the Mark 46 variants, full length barrel or shortened barrel, but no like para barrel, like super short.
Yeah.
But this is just a standard Mark 46 configuration from G&P, and from everything I've seen, this is very accurate to how
Very common.
the saw was run for 10th Mountain, I mean, to this day.
Yeah.
It's
what about top rail? Is that legit or no?
So top rails, from what I've seen, are used on some saws, but the heat shield top was also super common, and I happen to have that, so I'm just running with it.
Yeah, I think on both of them, heat shields have to stay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
heat
they're-
shields definitely have to
Wait,
stay.
I never saw any. Ian, I don't know if he ever saw any.
Well, yeah, Ian was attached to 10th Mountain, and you were Cav. Just a difference in units. But I, from what I recall of Ian saying, the this type of configuration of Mark 46 was the most common.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are actually 249s retrofitted with the Mark 46 furniture.
Yep.
And that basically meant that they put a lower rail and the Mark 46 stock on them. And that's why you still see so many of them with the full-length 249 barrels, because they are 249s that got the Mark 46 furniture upgrade. Which is also why, because I think the new Mark 46s don't actually take M4 mags on the side, if I recall correctly. Did they phase that out on the newer Mark 46s, or am I thinking the Mark 48?
That would be.
Garrett, why
That
don't
would be
you
the 48.
answer that in the comments?
I will put an annotation in the video, depending. But another very common thing with a lot of Mark 46s and M249s was if you had the bottom rail, a lot of guys would put a grip pod as opposed to having the bipod. And the reason for that is because the bipod ultimately is very heavy. It's a steel bipod, and a lot of the standard 249 bipods, kind of shitty.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of shitty, and they would break, and they would be in the fucking way all the time. So it was very common to see them replaced with grip pods.
Yeah.
So grip pods for the Mark 46 and for even for the M4s
Yep.
are pretty commonly seen and very much kosher for Keg. Now I don't have an optic on here. My long-term goal is to get an LCAM like that, but in the short term, no optics is pretty common on saws in the military. I mean, they're not going to
And
waste
240s as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in a lot of cases, like most of the patrol carbines and the actual fucking rifles that were being issued had optics, but the saw is more of a to whom it may concern. So I believe there was a machine gunner I was talking to who I think was in during the 90s during the Gulf War, and he he recalled they were taught to shoot as long as it took to say "die, motherfucker, die."
Yep.
So
2013, they still taught that.
yeah. So at that point, you know, optics
That's
not
how I learned.
optics not a super high consideration. So the only thing that I have on here attached otherwise is my D-ball, because I'm planning on using this under night vision. Again, D-balls, kind of one of those gray areas. The PEC 15A was the D-ball A2. Well, this is a D-ball I2. It's what I have. It's the illuminator and the laser. Works great under night vision for MilSim West uses for what I've got, and it's eye safe. So that's the important thing. But other than that, I mean, it's just a fucking standard Mark 46. I've got it on a Vickers sling with the padding, so I find that very comfortable to carry for long periods of time.
Yeah, so let's talk about slings real quick.
Yep.
Most guys just used what they had.
Yep.
So that's pretty much the rule that we've made.
Yep. Sometimes you would get a sling issued to you, which would be, 2.5 inch tri-glides with just a nylon band. You cut it and burned it to the length that was appropriate for you. But oftentimes you would see slings like the VTAC sling get issued. Usually in black.
Glorious Viking.
That's what I've got, the VTAC sling on mine.
Excellent.
So
and then
I did go and throw 1-inch D-rings on it to go make it easier to mount to, but they don't come with them standard.
yeah, so like on mine I have a Blackhawk sling that's very similar to what I used. You see some 1-point and wolf slings used by people that haven't been hit in the fucking dick by a 1-point sling. But yeah, 2-point slings definitely recommended. A couple other things not in this video. The SR25 or, Mark 11 Mod 0.
M110.
Yeah,
M110.
Whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. That's one of the things that
Just
we accept.
after we're replicating, I think they were actually rolling out the Scar H in a limited capacity too.
Scar H. Another thing that we allow is the M14 EBR.
That was still being used this time.
I would even accept an M14 with a wood stock, because
Call it an M21.
yeah. M21.
Especially since we're a grunt unit, if it was sort of spray painted, sort of beat to hell,
Yep.
that's what we're going for.
That's cool. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Glad you mentioned it. Spray paint. We don't want you to have spray painted guns, but if you do, it's cool.
Boom.
Yeah.
Tactical reload on the beers from the BB Warrior.
We are down to Guinness.
Pretty good talk.
Go to the YouTube channel,
down
the
to
BB
Guinness?
Warrior,
Oh, man.
or the website, thebbwarrior.com.
That's a Guinness.
No one needs to get it.
Nitro
Chill out.
Stout.
Careful.
I'm good.
That one's heavy.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
I'll be
start
hitting you
there,
up for that in a second.
What else? We have the M9. The M9 is our standard
Yes.
pistol.
Yes.
If you're running blanks, you need an M9. If you're running a machine gun, not a bad idea to run an M9. If you just want to be cool, like Les
M9 or
M9s.
M9A1.
M9A1 is okay.
It's okay.
No
but
A2s, no A3s.
The M9 is preferred.
no
though.
rail and zero functionality is what
Yeah.
we're going for. So
Yeah.
that's
just-
The more garbage it is, the better.
Basically a paperweight.
Holster-wise,
as much as I hate it,
Hard
Serpa
shells,
is
Serpas.
super kosher.
M12s are still around right now.
Somehow.
M12s are everywhere.
I saw M12s in 2015.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so outdated.
Yep.
Yeah, Safariland, Blackhawk Serpa, M12
Engage
holsters.
Tactical.
And we do allow personally sourced Kydex.
Yeah.
Just, again, we're trying to marrying the airsoft practicality with the unit replication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even the Kydex, like, if you make it, you try to make it look like.
We try to do like Ranger Green, and so it kind of matches this,
Right, matches
Yeah.
that sage.
At least it's not gonna just blatantly stick out.
As far as who's required to run a holster, it's just blank people and
Required
MMGs.
is MMGs and blanks.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
So standard riflemen like yourself or Cory
And
don't need
LMGs.
it.
I
And you-
don't
Because
need
I can
it.
clear rooms with this thing.
Sure. And as much as
that's
I
true.
would love to clear rooms with this, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot easier.
Do it, Ben.
I just never trust my rifle, no matter how well it's running.
Yep.
And I don't like carrying a spare rifle, so having a sidearm is a light, easy alternative. That if this eats shit and I'm out for the game, at least I got something.
Also, when you're walking around the fob at night,
Oh yeah, I'm still armed.
take a fucking M9.
Yeah.
It's great. Got something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to everything else, this weighs nothing.
Yeah.
This is nothing.
It's lighter than the helmet, I think. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So, What about sustainment gear and whatnot? Do we really regulate that? Not really.
Not really.
Not a lot.
Not really.
Don't have bright colors, man.
I run a fucking Hill People gear ruck with everything that I've got, and that main goal for like sustainment gear and rucks, you want to be able to carry it and be able to carry it well. We do have a ruck standard.
Yep. So our ruck standard that we just created this week. So this is really the only standard that we have for physicality.
It's a pretty easy standard.
It's pretty easy. You need to do 3 miles with a 35-pound ruck in
your full weekend sustainment gear.
Yep, under an hour. So yeah.
Yeah, and you should record that through Strava or a GPS recording app or your smartwatch data, and just submit, hey, I strapped on my weekend sustainment gear or a 35-pound ruck, and I was able to clear 3 miles an hour. It's an easy standard by design, but it's designed to get you to shake down your gear and make sure that you know what you're doing in terms of packing and walking, and that you've got good footwear, and that you can accomplish the basic level of rucking in that MilSim West is going to ask of you.
Yeah, Friday night especially, you got to get where you're going. So you might step off and start the game with a half a mile, a mile, a mile and a half.
Maybe 12.
If you've never done a MilSim West, you just have to mentally prepare that first night is going to be the most brutal part to you, right?
Yep.
Once you get through night one and that sun comes up, everything else is a breeze.
Yeah.
My first MilSim West, first introduction to any of this nonsense, I had to hike up a mountain. Then I had to climb back down that mountain to go get my ruck. Then
ball
climb
car?
back up it.
Yeah, ball car surge.
Volker fucking
Yes.
hated us.
That was my first introduction to this, and I'm still doing this. That was actually one of my favorite MilSim West memories, because I got to sit on a hillside at 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning with night vision during a thunderstorm.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
That was a lot of fun to me. I'm an idiot.
We have some brain damage, I think.
Yes.
If you can't play pretend with your friends, then
Can you play
what
pretend?
what are you even doing?
Your wife? Stupid.
No.
What else do we want to say about Task Force Keg?
We'll take anyone. If you can ruck march, cool. But you should wear
Also,
body
don't be a
armor.
shithead.
Don't be a shithead. Don't be a fucking.
If you join the group, there's 2 questions. Just answer yes with like 2 words after it. It's pretty easy. Just do it.
What you have to remember, this is a scalable kit, but like typically, IOTV, ACH, multicam. Don't be a dick. Be cool, and have the right rifle, and just enjoy MilSim for what it is. Don't take it too seriously. Obviously, if you're looking to go for an IOTV, you're probably not taking airsoft very seriously.
Please
So,
read the Bible before.
That will be
Anything
linked in
else?
the description.
Yep.
If it wasn't issued, you should definitely ask somebody about it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like Eagle.
And we're very open to being asked questions about it, whether that be in the Task Force Keg Discord, in the Task Force Keg Facebook group, or any of our pages where you can reach us.
Or just message me directly. I don't care. It might take me a day or 2 to get back to you. But
We'll try.
He'll wake up.
Just remember, this is a grunt kit.
Yep.
Not pretty.
And also, if you decide that this isn't for you and you want to move on to some other special high-speed impression, good for you.
Cool.
Good stuff. Go do it. We'll encourage you.
Sell your shit in our group. We'll buy it.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Seriously,
we
though,
already
if you
have it,
started
we'll buy
buying Task Force Keg stuff and you decide that this isn't for you, and you have all this gear that you no longer need, please post up in the group before you leave.
That's already
Because
happened.
chances are there's probably other people
At least twice.
that are looking
yeah.
for it on the cheap.
Wait, we're not going to just shit on the other impression groups?
No,
What the fuck are
no
we doing here?
fucking bullshit. No fucking. One of the things we're trying to do with Keg is no fucking bullshit. Don't get involved in all this stupid fucking drama. If you come into Keg and want to start shit talking whatever group you were part of, or shit talking,
We
the
all
other
have
fucking
band
Rushing
parent
Russians.
hours.
We have friends who are on most of the other impression groups. We don't want to fucking hear it.
I mean, our biggest supporter is like the green beans.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
The
Russian
Beanie
infantry
Boys.
is like, finally, yes. So
So
yeah.
bring your bullshit here.
Yep. Yeah, that's stupid. It's just like be a good person. That's the biggest requirement for.
Be an okay person,
Yeah.
even. Really, honestly. I
Like,
mean,
I'm an okay.
I'm like mediocre, like middle of the road, 5 out of 10, maybe 4.
4-ish.
Yeah, 3.5. Anyway, I think that about does it.
Yeah.
We're gonna continue to get drunk.
Eric, catch that Guinness.
Yeah, I could use a Guinness.
Don't drop it.
Boom.
Good catch.
Thank you very much for watching. We have been Gun Gamers and Task Force Keg, and we'll catch you all in the next video.
Cheers.
Peace.
Bye. I actually really needed that beer.
Hey, this is Eric editing this video, as you can see, just sitting at my computer, and it occurs to me that I 100%, we 100% forgot to talk about uniforms. Uniforms are simple. ACU cut multicam, not OCP. Multicam has vertical camouflage elements, OCP does not. That is the modern Army uniform. Multicam is the normal multicam uniform. That is what 10th Mountain was running at the time. ACU cut is the most highly encouraged. Massive combat shirts are also kosher. Cry ACs are also kosher, and Cry G3s have been seen in use. Best, cheapest option that looks the most authentic overall is the ACU cut multicam from contractors such as Proper, True Spec, any of those other guys who are making uniforms. I think even fucking Rothko has some. But you can use Cry cut pants. You can use the massive combat shirt. But in general, the ACU cut is the most common and the cheapest and most readily available. So there you go.
Thank you for watching this video from Gun Gamers. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. Check the description below if you'd like to buy a t-shirt or a patch, and use the coupon code JUDY10 for 10% off of your next order at Amped Airsoft. Thank you again for watching, and praise Judy.